Everyone, we're going to go ahead and start our meeting. It is 5:28. Thank you for being here with us. I'm going to go ahead and start with introductions. To my right,
Evening. My name is Ryan Greenfeld. I'm the BPUB liaison on Pubcap.
David Ramirez, CEO, Brownsville Board of Realtors.
Joe Medrano, small business owner here in Brownsville.
Luz Marshall, Brownsville Independent School District.
Patricia Cavazos, Chairman and BISD.
Hello, happy holidays. Chester Gonzalez, a lawyer.
Araceli Aguilar from Gomez Fragoso and Associates.
Good evening, Miguel Ángel Patiño with Laboratory Corporation of America.
Okay, so next item on the agenda is approval of the September minutes. Okay, so when ready, I'm going to go ahead and motion or entertain a motion for September minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I second.
Okay, motion passes. All right, next item on the agenda, old business.
Looking back on old business, I have here the Veterans Breakfast, which we held earlier. I know there were a couple of you who were able to make it. We do appreciate y'all being able to come out. Tomorrow is the safety luncheon. Y'all should have an invitation for that, and y'all are welcome to come by for that as well. And we also discussed the Conservation Superheroes Drawing Contest. The winners for that were announced, and we do have a presentation on that this evening.
Okay, next number on the agenda.
Madam Chair, I have something to say.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
I just want to thank, PUB for the Veterans Breakfast. Being a veteran, I appreciate it. Marilyn, thank you very much for hosting this, and it was an honor to be with your employees and that you celebrate your employees being veterans. I really, truly appreciate it. So all veterans here, thank you for your service, and I was honored to be a part of it. So again, thank you very much, and again, thanks for doing it.
Thank you, David. Next item on the agenda, new business.
I have a few items for new business. BPB did win award of merit for electrical conservation campaign that we did. That was an award given by the APPA. We also got an award from the GFAO for our financial reporting. And then I wanted to make sure y'all knew that we are sponsoring the Holiday Village, and so we will have a display there as well. I encourage people to go out and look for that. We are going to be also in the upcoming Christmas parade. And then I just kind of wanted to make sure to remind everyone that there is no Pubcap meeting in December, but y'all are invited to the BPUB annual Christmas party, and so I'll be sending y'all the invitation.
Ryan, where's the Holiday Village? Where's that going to be at? Okay, got it. Okay, by the Children's Museum. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Next item on the agenda, the MI project update.
Good afternoon. My name is Eddie Hernandez, and I'm the Director of Enterprise Solutions, and this is...
Good evening. My name is Jaime Aguilar, Division Manager for Administration.
And we're going to be talking about the AMI, which is the Advanced Metering Project. We're replacing all of our electric meters and either retrofitting or replacing some of our existing water meters, so that they'll be able to report remotely. Some of the benefits to the customers are enhanced customer experience. We'll be able to give customers detailed readings. The meters will record information in 15-minute intervals. Right now, we get one reading at the beginning of the month and one reading at the end of the month. And we just bill you the differential, okay? So if you call and say, hey, what happened? My bill doubled or it increased 20%. We have no idea. Well, I mean, it's your house. You live there. If you don't know, how do I know?
Exactly.
Realistically, which is not a good answer, on our part, because we just don't have that information. We just have the beginning and end. Well, now it'll look at your consumption every 15 minutes, and we'll be able to present that information to you in a customer portal that you can access, so you don't even have to call us. Eventually, that's kind of like stage 2. But the information will be there so that we'll be able to look at it online with you and kind of walk you through it and be able to show what's going on. And Jaime will give you a couple of examples of how that works. It also means that there'll be fewer estimated bills because since we have bills, readings every 15 minutes, if there was a bad read, we just go to the one before or the one before, or we can ping the system and have it communicate quickly. Right. And we'll take a look at it. It'll send notifications. So we're trying to set it up so it'll send, it'll be able to send high consumption notifications to you. You can put a bandwidth and, hey, if I use more than X, let me know. Or if we suspect that there's a water leak, like if there's water consumption over a 24-hour period, because usually in the middle of the night between 1 o'clock and 6 a.m., there should be no water consumption. Well, if there's continual water consumption, then we can send you a notice saying, hey, something looks funny. You may want to check. Because we've all been there where I live next door to my parents and, I caught my mom leaving the water hose on all night long, flooding my driveway and stuff like that. So, it happens to a lot of people. Or there's a toilet running and we live in a 2-story house, so sometimes we're never we're never in the other floor where the guest rooms are, and you got to check you got to make sure you flush those things once in a while to refill them. So there are things like that we'll be able to send. And again, I talked about the online tools that we'll be providing later on, and it helps the customer with consumption management and quicker. We'll also be able to do outage restorations quicker because now we'll be able to see when there's an outage. The meters basically are communicating with us. And so they'll tell us, they have what's called a last gasp. So if power goes out, it sends out that last message saying, help. And, we have our map that'll be red dot, green dot. So we'll be able to see, okay, well, where's the outage? But the good thing is that we'll know the scope of the outage. So we'll be able to tell quickly where it is and how big it is. Right now, what happens is we depend on the customer telling us. Yeah. We really depend on you guys, either through the app or through a phone call. And a lot of the times during the day, especially if it's during working hours, we don't get that information quickly because there's not that many people at home. There's a few more people that work from home nowadays, but not quite as many. So we'll only get a handful of phone calls. So our typical thing is we send out a troubleshooter who goes out, he gets in the truck, he goes out there, he drives to your house, he looks around, he tries to figure out what's going on, and then he reports back. So then when he reports back, they have like little ants going out to forage. They send back the message and tell us, and then we send the crew that we think needs to address the issue. But if the issue is worse or bigger than we thought it was, then we got to start all over. Then that crew has to come back. Each trip, each sequence is about 45 minutes to an hour. And remember, we've only got so many crews, so this crew may have gone over there instead of going here. In this way, we'll know the scope of the outage. We'll know which one's bigger, which one's, how large it is, and we'll know immediately. So we'll know immediately, like, this is the type of crew we need to send there. Right. So those are the things that it helps you and it helps us. On the utility side, timely and accurate meter reading so that you're happy, we're happy. Reduce truck rolls. We're not having to roll trucks all over the place. I mean, right now I've got 14 meter readers and 8 servicemen, something like that. So these are the guys that are running around town all day long, reading meters every single day, or turning services on or turning services off. So a lot of that will be done remotely. We'll get the reads remotely. We can also turn off services remotely. So what we'll do is we'll set up something to where every day at 9 a.m., after people have had breakfast and showered and gone to work, we'll set a schedule. So at 9 a.m., we disconnect power. That way people get used to it. They know when it happens. And that's intentional so that people can plan. And so that, hey, is the power still on? No. Okay, you've got time before lunch to call in. You don't even have to call in. You can just go online and make a payment, and it'll be integrated with our other systems. So if you make a payment, then it'll update like in 15, 20 minutes, and it'll send a signal to reconnect automatically. So we'll run that 2 or 3 times a day so that we can even do the disconnect, reconnect remotely. Enhanced, as I mentioned, enhanced outage detection. System planning optimization will be able to feed our electrical engineers a lot more detailed information so they can do better planning. We'll reduce bill adjustments because we'll have way more information that we'll be able to check. We'll have some real-time analytics. It also helps with theft detection and on our side. So if somebody's messing with the meter, it tells us quickly. When they remove the meter from the socket, it'll tell us then. If they turn it upside down, it'll tell us. It has a bunch of different little things that it can let us know. And Jaime, again, we'll show you something on improved safety where it can notify us if something's wrong with the meter, if there's a problem with it.
I think that's the greatest thing in the world, theft detection, because hard to believe nowadays people still want to rip out the system, you know what I mean? And so now you'll be able to know, well, the usage doesn't match what you would perceive the consumption to be, right? So I think it's excellent to prevent and pass that message out to the community that you guys are watching. So that's something that.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what comes back.
Or who comes back, right?
The basic system, Landis & Gear is the company that's doing our electric meter system. Badger is we've been using Badger water meters for like 20 years or something. So what we did was, they have a lifespan of about 20 years. So what we did is we went back about 7 years or so and said, okay, everything from 7 to now we'll keep, and we'll just retrofit the register. Anything that's older than 7 years we'll replace and put a whole new meter and register in. So we were able to save a little bit of money by reducing the cost by using some of our old water meters. SmartWorks is a company that basically is going to do the meter data management system. That's the system, it sits, all of these, the electric system, the water system, have software systems that are collecting that information that I was talking about. So the electric system reports through an RF mesh. Think of that kind of like your internet. And then the Badger system is cellular, so that's like your phone, but it's a different bandwidth. So they're different methods, but each system collects their information, processes it, and then sends it to us. The meter data management system, so it comes to the meter data management system, and that's what kind of massages it, and then sends whatever information our different internal systems need. And then Allegiant is the company that's going around town doing the installation of the meters for us, the electric and the water meters. They've been excellent, knock on wood. They've been really excellent to work with. They're very customer-centric. They're very, very strict and very demanding of their employees and what they expect. And we've had a very good response with them. If an issue does pop up with the customer, they're instructed to not get involved. They just say, they'll just leave the situation as is, they'll report back to us, and then we handle any escalations, and they move on. But it's been moving along very well. And basically, it's pretty simple. The meters collect the information, they send it over their communication system, either cellular or mesh. Then the head-end systems report to our meter data management system, and then that comes back into the customer information system, which is what does the billing. Now, the customer information system just wants the last read, and the first read and the last read. I just need to bill the difference. That's all I need. I don't need all this other stuff. But the other systems that we're going to bring in, like the customer engagement portal, wants all the detailed information so it can present it to you if you want it. So that's kind of how the system will work. Am I stepping on your stuff? Okay. We're tag teaming here, so I'm trying to make sure I'm not stepping on his thing. The project began in February of '24. It's projected to complete in March of '27. So we're in the middle of it right now. The system implementations, which are the actual computer system there's about 7 different systems that we're integrating, has been going on from March of '24 to we're just completing it. Like we're going live, and nobody's been screaming, so I'm assuming everything's going good. We're going live with the systems to where they're actually, from the beginning to the end, all the different systems that we've integrated are actually communicating. And we do have some minor issues that we're working through, but thank God, so far, so good. No deal breakers. The budget for the project was $29.7 million. We've spent almost 14. We have about 15 million remaining. But we're heavy into production now, so it's moving along. The big milestones, the head-end systems are online. Those are the metering systems that actually get the information in. The meter data management system, which is kind of like the brains of the outfit, that's online. The the electrical network is up. The water network is up. The initial deployment meters area has been installed. I don't remember if I think we came to you all at the very beginning. We had about 4 or 5 different areas around town, downtown, Lakeway. I think there were some apartment complexes, South Point. We picked different areas that were going to be a little more difficult. We figured if we could do the more difficult ones, if we could make those work, then everything else should be easier, theoretically. So that's what we call the initial deployment area. We picked those areas. All the meters have been installed in those areas, so they're working. So if we can keep that up and going, then we should be in good shape. The alert validations are going, and like I said, our go live, which is just step 1, it's not completing, it's just step 1. It's where we start processing data. That occurred this past October. Part of the savings on the project, there are a few things that we did I guess we were talking about the budget, and there have been change orders coming through, and that's always something that as a project manager you worry about, and the board worries about, because we have a budget, and you got to stick to the budget. Now, I'm sure you all are aware, if any of y'all haven't been involved in computer projects, you almost never are able to stick to that budget because things change, and this is a monster project. So one of the things we did early on is when we brought the budget in, it was approved, then we went back and we negotiated with our vendors after the fact. There were some things that we felt that we could do internally and take advantage of. And for example, meter lid replacement. Well, I don't need to pay them to go replace meter lids. Mm-hmm. What we did was Jaime and I went and hired a local crew of 4 people, and then we had a couple of our staff manage them. We were able to save $90,000 by doing that internally instead of having the contractor do it. So we just subtracted that from the contract. There were some things like pipe identification, which was actually an add-on. We were made aware from the environmental people that the state had a new regulation where we have to, and some of you may be getting notices, that we need to check the pipe that goes from the meter to the house. That's your pipe, not ours. Yeah. But so in old construction, that could be lead. And so the state says, okay, your customers aren't going to check, so we're going to make you check, and then you need to let them know. And we're like, well, that's great, because then they're going to come back to us. Yeah, they are, but too bad. That's the way it's going to work. So we figured, well, when we talked to environmental, we said, well, we've already got a crew going out to replace meters. The pipe's right there. So we asked them, well, how much would you charge us? And they said, well, let's figure that out. And so then we go back to environmental, and they said, it's going to cost us $200,000-300,000 to do this, because we'd have to hire a crew, activate them. They have to go visit 16,000 homes. It's just a percentage. They came back and they said, we'll charge you 65 cents per home. And we said, oh, we'll take that. So we were able to save a ton of money for PUB. Unfortunately, that didn't reflect in the project, but as a company, we were able to save a ton of money on there. On warehouse and support, again, you're bringing in a ton of meters. You're going to have to warehouse all those meters. We're talking about 110,000 meters basically, and all the equipment that goes with it. So there's warehousing, there's security, all kinds of stuff that goes with that. And we realized that, well, we have a warehouse right back here that's empty. Well, it wasn't empty, it was full of junk. I mean, you know how it is. If you've got empty space, somebody's gonna fill it with stuff. But remember, we have the 511 facility and our new warehouse is there. So we had the old warehouse here full of stuff. And so we started going through the contract and we said, well, hey, we have a warehouse and it's already behind a fence. We're already paying for security. We already have all this stuff. And we spoke to our vendor, and the vendor was like, we've tried this before. And we said, well, why don't you come down and visit us? So they came down, they took a look, and they said, oh my God, this is fantastic. So right now they're in there, and we were able to save about $1 million on the contract there. That's really where the money's coming from. So when I have to do amendments, I saved here, so I haven't had to go back to the board to ask for money yet, because we've been able to draw from our own created savings. This is a detailed breakdown of the budget, which I'm sure you could care less. But the bottom line is it's about 29 million, and we've spent 13, almost 14, and we got about 15 left. And let's see if I can, I don't know if does that show over there? Okay. This is contingency. That's where, all in all, we were able to pull in about 2.5 million in contingency funds. Well, that's not true. We did about almost 4 million from working the different contracts and squeezing them. And so that's where we're using our own funds first instead of having to come back for funds. And we still have about 1.4 million left in contingency. So of the almost 4 million, we've reallocated almost 2.5. We have about 1.4 left. So we're still in good shape on the budget. And is this yours? Okay.
All right, so what I'll be talking about real quick is the hidden systems and also our Allegiant, which is our installation partner. I do want to mention that Allegiant, you probably have seen them out in the streets. They have a co-branded trucks, meaning they do have their logo and our logo. And then there's also a picture on the left side of the warehouse that Eddie was talking about. That's our warehouse, and they're working out of our warehouse. I do want to note that Allegiant was able, or has hired local technicians. So basically they have 7 water technicians, 2 electrical technicians, 1 operations support administrator, and a project manager. All these employees that Allegiant currently has, there are local hires, so we do appreciate that. Now, in the AMI support department, we do monitor their weekly installs. This is a little busy dashboard, however, I just wanted to emphasize on the left side of how many installs they've done up to October 31st. They've done about 37,953 installs. And I'll further break that down they've installed about 20,266 meters, or 40% of electric, and also 17,687 water meters, or 31% of the work orders. Now, as you noticed, they're a little bit faster on the electric side because it doesn't take as much time to replace an electric meter than they would a water meter. So furthermore, so this is Eddie spoke on it earlier on the head-end system. So this is actually the water head-end system. So this is where all that water data is coming to. This is the actual system. We are monitoring this in the AMI support department. I do want to concentrate on this particular card, more specifically on the leak detection. As you can see, there's about 1,063 leaks that have been identified by the system. And we further drove into that, you could see that about 27 on the right side of the graph, 27 customers have a leak of over 60 gallons per hour for a 24-hour period, as well as 832 customers that have a potential leak of less than 10 gallons per hour, which essentially aggregates to about 267,000 gallons that have been leaked in the previous 24 hours. So one thing I do want to note with these customers is that we have made a campaign to reach out to the customers via phone call. For the 60-plus customers, the ones that have the larger leaks, they've actually been giving them a call. And on the other customers, there was a mass phone call letting them know you might have a potential issue at your residence for the customer to go ahead and investigate that. One particular instance, and this one caught our attention, was that this particular location notified us of a leak, a potential leak of 699 gallons per hour for 24-hour period. As you can see on the video on the right side, on the top right, you do see the pipe had bursted, so there is water gushing from the pipe. If you turn your attention to the middle of the graph, the leak, according to the heading system, the leak stated that it started roughly around 10 p.m. on a Monday. The leak continued throughout Tuesday and Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we went out to the field to make contact with the customer. Roughly around 11:53 a.m. is when we shut off the water, and then the heading system within a short amount of time notified us that the leak had stopped. We did notify the customer of the potential issue, and at that point, again, since it is on the customer side, it would be up to the customer to mitigate that particular issue. In total, between those 2.5 days, the total leaks was about 44,902 gallons. Any questions so far?
Yeah, the interesting thing there is, if I remember correctly, they weren't home when you guys went. So we were notified by the system that there's a potential leak, like, hey, it just doesn't look right. So we tried calling, nobody answered. So Jaime called me and said, hey, can we go take a look? Because, I mean, we want to check it out. Is the data good? Is it right? So I said, yeah, go. So they went out, took a look, and you can see the picture, and you can see the thing bubbling up. So again, we tried to make contact. Nobody was at the house, so we went ahead and cut the water off at the meter and left a note, to inform them what's going on. But you can imagine, I mean, I don't know what the situation was. Maybe they're on vacation or went to go visit people. But that thing would have stayed on. Normally, we wouldn't know. We would have no idea. And the way you know is when you come home and everything's flooded or the bill comes out. Now, this is an extreme situation, but like we're not sure if the people moved out or what, but it was still in the customer's name. But we were able, this is where the system tells us that something's wrong, and then we're able to react to it. And even on the small ones, we did mass, just the basic phone call that the program phone call that just lets them know, or text that lets them know that, hey, you might have a leak, just check. We noticed that there's continuous consumption. On the large leaks, the billing team went in and actually made direct phone calls to people to try to get hold of them.
Eddie, what's the rule of thumb when it comes to the payment of such a large consumption of water? I mean,
On something like this, the way it works, I mean, unfortunately, the water was used for good or bad, so the customer will pay. Now, what we can do, there are things we can help to mitigate the cost. Like in this case, since it's outside, it's not going through the sewer system. So we can credit the customer on the sewer side. The sewer is more expensive than water. Obviously, we have to treat the sewer. So we can give you credit on the sewer side for the additional consumption. On the water side, though, you still have to pay. We may be able to charge you at a lower rate, saying, well, it obviously wasn't intentional, because the more water you use, you step through higher rates. It's kind of like a luxury tax. It's America. If you want to use it, go for it, but you're going to pay, right? But obviously, when we see something like this, we realize, okay, this wasn't intentional, so we give the customer the benefit of the doubt. You still do that? Okay. I ran customer service for 25 years, but I'm not there anymore, so I don't know what they've changed. So they'll give the customer the benefit of the doubt and charge the lower rate, and we can give them credit on the sewer. So that's what we can do. But the water, once it's used, because we had to pay for it, we had to treat it. And if we don't charge the person who used it, that means you all are paying for it. There's no free ride. It's a zero-sum game. You gotta remember, we're municipal,
Okay, so moving on. So that was on the water side. So this is actually the electric head-in system. So this is the system that actually collects all the readings from the electric meters. And again, I want to concentrate on the alerts. So again, these electric meters, these upgraded meters, they do have a lot of sensors and alerts that it's able to notify us, the utility. One specific alert I do want to concentrate on is the temperature alert. And this is a specific example. There was a customer that in our command center, which is our heading system, it did notify us of a temperature alert. We did do a meter investigation. What the meter tech found out in the field was that this particular meter was indeed a hot socket, what they call a hot socket, meaning the face side showing signs of damage. If you can see where the arrow's pointing, the terminal is opened. So that's a potential hazard. The tech did notify the customer. Essentially, again, the customer would have to make those repairs. And then just a quick status on that one is that the meter was installed on August 18th by Allegiant, our installation partners. The alert didn't occur until October 4th, which I believe was a Saturday, and we were able to investigate it on October 8th. And not only does it give us alerts, so the head-end systems give us a lot of other data that, like Eddie mentioned, that our engineers can use to better plan for future growth. In particular, this one, the electric system can get the aggregate of all the meters that have been installed and tell us how much the meters or us as a utility or the customers have used, throughout the days. For example, this is on a 1 week's period. It tells you how much in megawatts we've used. And additionally, it also gives us the demand load profile as far as, again, it gets the aggregate values from all the meters, and it presents that information to us. I will note, and Eddie did touch on it earlier, is that we are working with our engineering department and other departments to see how we can further provide data so they can perform their analysis or for future planning, like I mentioned. And with that, that's the end of our presentation. Are there any questions?
Any
The
questions?
project completion date of March 27th, is that for the entire service area?
That's the plan.
It's a good system, how you all are notified versus having the consumer notify you. It tells you already, when you all have to go out there and check and so forth.
One of the big,
So I like that, about that, for sure.
one of the big things, one of the big selling points, and one of the things that has really changed, when we started this project, one of the things that we did was we had a whole change management process to look at our old processes and the new processes, because you got to look at it like, okay, this fundamentally changes the way we do business, because everything that we do has always been reactive. You need to tell us that you don't have power. You let us know that you have a leak. We don't know. And in this situation, it changes the complete dynamic. I know I visited College Station, Bryan, Texas Utilities, and we were talking about a service. There was we were visiting their IT people because there was a system that they had that we were thinking about buying, and we were talking about that. And at the end of the day, the guy who runs the system there is a friend of mine, so we met, we talked. I said, oh, hey, by the way, we're using these guys for outage calling and da-da-da-da. I know you use them for this other thing. You guys don't use them for, he goes, no. And I said, well, how come? Because that's what they're known for. That's what they're, I said, was there a problem? He goes, oh, no, they're great. He goes, but Eddie, we have AMI. We know that our customer doesn't have power before they know they don't have power. So typically they're at work, right? Or they're asleep, so they have no clue. We're the ones, we send them a text. As soon as we get the notification, you wait a few minutes to make sure that it's not just a blink. You send a text, hey, we're aware that you're out of power. Text number 2, hey, we'll get, text number 1, we know you're out of power. Don't worry, you don't have to call us. That way we don't have a ton of phone calls coming into customer service. Second, we'll get to you with an estimation once we know what's going on. Hopefully, 15, 20 minutes later, we'll send you a second text telling you, hey, it's a blown transformer. This is going to take about 3 hours to fix. Okay, now you can plan. If you're a mom picking up your kids from BISD, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to go home. There's no AC. There's no electricity. I can't cook. These kids can't plug in all their electronic devices. Okay, Mom, do you got power? Okay, I'm going to your house. Or take them to the library or go shopping or what, but you can plan. Now, you know what to do. And then the third text would be, okay, your power should be restored. If it's not, then it's a different problem. Please call us. And for that, think about that dynamic, how it changes everything. And so he said, Eddie, we don't get phone calls anymore. We know before they know. We're being proactive. We're telling them how we're going to help them.
Yeah, love it.
And these notifications are going to be coming in 2027. The notifications, like when the customers have access to this, is going to be until 2027?
No, so like Eddie mentioned earlier, so we do have a customer engagement portal. That's not part of this project, although it is tied to this project. We anticipate that coming online first quarter of 2026. So ideally, we can start rolling that out with a few customers that do have the AMI system. Now, mind you, the AMI full project completion isn't until March 2027, but that doesn't mean we can't already start leveraging the system to start notifying our customers.
Yeah, it's kind of like these other things that we were showing you. What we're trying to do is take advantage of what's in the ground already, or what's been installed already. So why wait? Why wait 2 more years? And then start. We said, let's start playing with this stuff now. And so as we go along, as we're installing, then those customers will have some options. We can start playing with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, Conservation Superhero Contest winners.
Good evening, members of Pubcap. My name is Miguel Callas, Digital Information Platforms Manager with Brownsville Public Utilities Board. And I'm here today to talk to you about the Conservation Superheroes Drawing Contest that we host. So this is the second year that we've been hosting this contest. And what this contest is a way for us to promote energy and water conservation throughout the youth of our community. And so the main goal is for parents and students to engage and start thinking about water conservation. The drawing contest calls to action for students to submit drawings showcasing their message for water or energy conservation. And so this year, the contest ran from August 18th through September 19th. We did a ton of promotion on social media. We did send out messages to the schools, newsletters, promoting the contest, and we had very good participation this year. We had about 90 submissions from various schools throughout our service territory. And so this contest is for students between 1 through 5th. So the way it works is we select the top applicants. Once we receive the submissions, we vet them, and we will select 5 finalists for each grade. And so after that, those are put up for community vote. This year, we did something a little different. We put them up for community vote on our big public utility bash, which happened October 10th. Mm-hmm. And so the community vote period ran from October 10th through October 17th. And so without further ado, I'm going to show you some of the contestants that won so you can experience and get to see some of the work that we received. And these are the award winners. So for first grade, we had Maria from Episcopal Day School. Second grade, we had Emma from Episcopal Day School as well. Third grade, we had Jose from First Baptist. And you can see, you know, some of the messages are very clever and a lot of vibrant drawings that we got. Fourth grade, we had Madalia from Canellas Elementary. And there should be one more, I think. I don't know if that was included in here, but these are all available on our website where you can see them as well. And we did share them on social media. We had an overwhelming amount of feedback from the community. I know I was in several groups, you know, because my kids go to school as well. And I saw some of the parents sharing and you know, lots of feedback that we got. And throughout the Public Utilities Bash, we had a lot of receptive parents coming in with their families and voting. So it was a great turnout. We really enjoy hosting this contest, and I know some of you all helped as well to share that on social media, so I do appreciate that. And so with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
I hope you all continue to do this, because I think that'll share the wealth and expand awareness to our younger generation as they keep on going to be able to conserve water. So I think it's a very educational thing for them. So I hope you all continue to. This is the second year, right?
This is the second year. I do want to add too that the winners were, there's a grand prize winner for each grade, and they did receive an iPad, so that
that's
helps
nice.
them to further their education and
Yes,
utilize that.
absolutely. Awesome.
And so for all the runner-ups that were also during the voting period, we did give them some BPUB swag and goodies so that, they feel appreciated for their work. And hopefully we get to continue to grow the numbers and have more participation every year. So we're going to continue pushing that because, water and energy conservation are very important, so.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yes.
I
much.
have a question.
Yes.
On the voting part. The community could vote only one time per household, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the way it works is we have logs, so we track it by IP address. And so once the IP address is logged, then they're not able to vote again.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Any other questions?
Yeah, Mo, I just wanted to make a comment, Mr. Cross. One, I wanted to congratulate you on, kind of overseeing this project, but at the same time, I think it's really, really good that we have these types of projects and that they are online and that they're part of the community fair that allows it really just emphasizes to the community, that despite whatever differences or situations may come where there, are different opinions on things or whatever that might be, that it emphasizes our commitment to be part of the community and that we continue to emphasize that. So just big props to that and for the fair. I know we discussed this last time, but for the big community fair that was part of it last time too.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Mhm.
Next item on the agenda, the credit card payment analysis.
Good evening.
Good evening, Eddie.
My name is Eddie Campidano, and I'm representing the customer service group this evening. And we're going to be talking a little bit today about the credit card payment analysis. So this presentation was given on Monday to the Facilities and Programs Committee on the board, and it was actually requested because some inquiries that came in actually from the community, specifically regarding the cap on credit cards. So we actually felt, this is actually a great time to kind of recap and kind of rehash all this because we went live with this structure almost a year, actually a little over a year, October 1st of 2024. So now that we've had the current structure where the payer pays the credit card fee for going on 13 months now. So this was very timely. So we kind of wanted to kind of go over it. And if there were any questions or feedback that you guys are getting, I'd be happy to answer that as well. So overview. So total billable accounts that we have at the end of this past fiscal year, 25, was 73,460. So the total payments that we received during this past fiscal year was 836,372. And so the breakdown by payment type, you can see all the different ways that customers can and do pay. What's important here is we can see that almost 50% of customers pay with a credit card. And this was essentially after that 12-month period. So when we implemented the change in credit card fee structure, we weren't exactly sure what kind of feedback we were going to get. We didn't know if there was going to be really a mass exodus from customers paying with a credit card and adopting other free ways to pay, like ACH or paying with a checking account, which are completely available to customers. We actually saw a slight amount of growth. So that being said, so these are kind of a breakdown by numbers, how customers are actually paying. But again, we're focusing on that almost 50% of customers. And that's residential and commercial. Those two customer classes are certainly able to pay with a credit card. And we'll get into a little bit more detail as we progress through the presentation. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to stop me throughout the presentation. Okay, when we first presented this to the board, actually we presented this to the Pubcap when we were going to be going live with this back in I think we presented in June of 2024. But this was part of the analysis at that time. And so every budget year, when we're evaluating my department's budgets and things like that, we had to address that as you can see, that 800,000 pound gorilla there. And so as you can see, the credit card fees, and this was on an annual basis that PUB essentially paid in credit card fees every fiscal year. And you can certainly see that incremental growth there. So at the time we were doing this analysis in 2024, I took a 5-year snagit, really, essentially, of what we were paying in credit card fees year over year. And from fiscal year 2019 to fiscal year 2023, we paid a little over $3.3 million. And that's O&M. So that's a significant amount of money there. And so this past fiscal year, looking at the amount of credit card charges and also looking at the growth of year over year there, we anticipated that we would have paid a little over $877,000 in credit card fees this past year alone. And so as you can see, we would, if we didn't change that course of action, we would have vastly or quickly approached that $1 million annual mark, which is a significant chunk of change. And so really, again, how some of the feedback that we were getting from some of the community members is specifically looking at some of the commercial segment here, that some of the feedback we got was, why is there a cap? Why is the cap set at $1,000? So let's talk about what it currently is set at now. So we do have a max cap of $1,000 per transaction. And I will say that, say for instance, if a customer has a $2,000 bill on the commercial side or whatever it may be, they can actually have multiple transactions. So for instance, you've got a $2,000 bill, you can pay $1,000 twice. So it's not preventing you from using a credit card, you're just gonna have to use multiple transactions. So you also may be asking, why $1,000? Well, our average credit card bill is $188. So it doesn't even get close to the 1,000. So you saw that 50%, almost 49.6% of customers that pay with a credit card bill. Well, each one of those, their average bill is $188. So we did raise the cap. I would say about 2 years ago now. At this point, it was returning from COVID. But as you can see here, I'm sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. So the credit card fee is 1.95% or $2.50. And so when we were putting this all analysis together before we brought it to the board for approval, we certainly did a lot of legwork and because there's no point in reinventing the wheel, but we also wanted to benchmark against other utilities, other governmental entities, also entities in the private sector, because we know that credit card fees and things like that are nothing new. So we wanted to benchmark against that. So that being said, we were able to negotiate 1.95% or $2.50. So I know this is a bit busy, but what we wanted to show, if we were to increase that cap, the fee actually would change. And so the interesting thing with it, it's not necessarily interesting, but the caveat here is, if you have that average customer with that $188 bill, if we change that max cap to $5,000 or $10,000, that fee would go up. So say, for instance, if that cap were to be raised, and it was at that time, so if we got real world numbers now, they'd probably significantly higher on the fee. So let's just focus on the numbers that we do have. So the 5,000s, if we raise that credit card cap, instead of 1.95%, it'd be 2.25%. And if we went to $10,000, it'd be 2.5%. And so if we already know that our average credit card bill is $188, they certainly would not be benefiting from that. So they'd still be subject to that percentage increase, even though their bills are significantly less than the max cap. And so that was something that was really important. We wanted to make sure that it was equitable for everybody that'd be participating in this program. And part of this whole program was the communication aspect of it. We certainly wanted to get in front of it and it gives customers a significant amount of time to communicate this message that this was coming online. So this part of the communications plan included everything from physical signage in our lobby, because we do have a significant amount of foot traffic, email campaigns, social media campaigns, and also on our biller portal. It was bold red and actually still there today. FAQ page on the website, which is still there today. So we definitely got in front of it, and we were communicating this months in advance. And so I would say, by and large, I don't want to say that it was well received, because nobody likes paying a fee, but I think there was a level of understanding and notification that they knew it was coming. So that pretty much rounds out what I wanted to communicate a little bit. But if you guys have any questions or want to share any feedback from any what you guys are hearing out there, I'd be happy to hear it.
I wish I had a $188 bill.
I wish you did too. But you know what? AMI may help figure out why you don't. So,
Yeah.
or you may not want to know, and that's okay. It's easier that way sometimes.
Any questions, guys? Any questions?
Thank you.
All right,
I think
thank
we're
y'all.
good, Eddie. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Next item on the agenda, public comments. Is there any public comments tonight?
There is.
Come on up, sir.
Hello.
Hello, good
Hi.
evening. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, my name is David Cornejo, and myself and my wife, we own several properties. And one of them happens to be 706 Continental Drive. It's a rental property, so we had a tenant move out, so I requested services. And the first thing that I found was that they said it's pending a full deed and your spouse ID. So they wouldn't connect because those things I hadn't submitted. Well, so what I had submitted was the page that I thought was important because it says, okay, this is the person who sold the property, this is the property, and this is the people that bought it, and it has a date. So I submitted that. They said, no, we need the whole thing, which I thought was ridiculous, right? And then, so I never submitted it, okay? I never submitted it. Eventually, it got connected. We and my wife had lived in it for a while. So they said, oh, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and look at our files and find the information that we need. And the lady also told me that she had found the information that she needed from the appraisal district, that in fact we are the owners, right? So it got settled, but then I did request a meeting with Eddie Campirano, who's here tonight, and I had a meeting scheduled for Tuesday. So I came to the meeting, but before the meeting, I was getting all this text. You have a meeting scheduled, but if you can't make it and you want to cancel, you can go ahead and cancel it. And of course, I wouldn't do it, right, because I wanted the meeting. And so again, later on, boom, if you have a meeting scheduled, but if you want to cancel it, go ahead and press this button. So I got it like 3 or 4 times. So I show up to my meeting, and I wait like 30 minutes, and then they tell me, Mr. Campirano's not here. And he won't be here on Wednesday nor Thursday. He'll be back on Friday. So I told a gentleman there at the front desk, can you tell Mr. Campirano to call me, please? Have him call me. I never got the call. Okay, so anyway, so at this address, this is something else. We're talking about customer service, right? At this address, I connected the electric service, residential, and the water residential also. So the water and the electric. But, so I called the lady and I said, well, okay, so I'm gonna have to pay $50, right, for the connection service, the connection fee, they call it. And at my property at VICC, there's a electric meter, but there's no water meter. I understand that some of those properties there have water meters, and a lot of properties do not have water meters. They charge you a flat fee, which is, I believe is like up to $90 now. And I also don't understand that because I believe that it's way above what the average customer pays for their water bill, water and sewer. But I'm not too sure about that because it used to be in your bill. They used to show it to you, but not anymore. So anyway, that's about it. That's the thing that I'm hoping to resolve, that PUB does that, is that, you know, whenever I ask for utilities, I don't need my wife to submit her license because I'm the one who's gonna be responsible for that bill. I'm taking full responsibility for it. And so I think that what needs to be done is the policy needs to be looked at and changed. Because, I mean, can you imagine if 10 people own that one property and they want all 10 people to submit their driver's license? Mm-hmm. That would be, you know, ridiculous, right?
Mr.
Any
Cornejo,
questions?
did you ever get to talk to Mr.
No,
Campirano?
no, I haven't.
Not yet?
No, he never called me.
Okay. So, do you wanna
Well, I would like to meet in his office.
Okay.
That's what I
okay.
would like to do.
Okay, so hopefully you can make an appointment with him and he'll be, I'm not sure what the situation was, but hopefully he can explain it to you and I guess we can look at,
Yeah.
to see
Ma'am,
about the policy.
getting back to the fees, I'm sorry that I interrupted you. I don't understand the $25 fee for the water connection because there's no way, there's no meter, there's no gauge, there's no nothing, nothing has to be done. The water can't be cut off, it can be connected, you know, the electric meter, I know that they can because I've seen it. Oh, as a matter of fact, I was there and I had people working at the condo and they told me, hey, we don't have any light. They cut it off. And I said, well, why didn't they connect it? We don't know. But I found out later on that it was because I hadn't submitted my wife's ID and the full deed of trust, or the deed for the property.
And hopefully with the customer service, maybe they can, I don't know how they could handle as far as the fee and all that, but you could just talk to them and.
Yeah, and that's why I had to, when I was at the office, and I spoke to the guy, right, and I said, well, when is Eddie here, right? Because I call him Eddie. I have spoken to Mr. Campirano before in his office, and he said, well, we don't know. We don't know where he's at, but sometimes he's here because we see him walking around, but other than that, we don't know what he does. So he told me, and I thought it was funny, but, you know.
Okay,
Anything else?
Does anyone else have any questions?
I'm sure public information or the office will get, customer service will get back to you, sir. I'm sure.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Cornejo.
Thank you.
Okay, next meeting, as Ryan said, for December, we're gonna have our Christmas, they're gonna have the Christmas dinner, so we're not gonna have a meeting till January 21st, 2026, correct? Yes, so any other questions? Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, sorry, Marilyn.
One last
I'm
quick,
sorry.
I didn't hear anybody. Tomorrow we have our safety annual
Yes,
luncheon.
yes,
And so
yes.
some of you I have attended in the past, and since it wasn't announced, thank you so much in advance for attending. You all are welcome to partake in the safety announcements and customer service, public service announcements that we do for the rest of the staff. Thank you.
Thank you
Marilyn,
so
is that in 3 shifts like it was last year?
It is in 3 shifts, and I'm not sure if, Ryan, you have the times of the shift. Is it,
11, 12, and 1.
there you go. So if you're welcome to attend at any of those 3 shifts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for
So moved to adjourn.
attending. It is 6:26. So this meeting has adjourned. Thank you.